Hello everyone, I hope you are very healthy and consistent. So, in this video, we will begin with Shiatsu, created in Japan in the early 20th century, principally for the treatment of arthritis. Shiatsu also works on energy flow through the application of pressure with the thumbs and the palms of the hands. In combination with stretching and breathing exercises, it seeks to create equilibrium among the different elements of the body. It is not important that the Tao Yin heavenly is imitating something or is engraved in jade. What is important is the technique and the essence of what is really practiced. Stretching and contracting, bending and lifting of the head, stepping, lying down, resting or standing, walking or stepping slowly, screaming or breathing, everything can be a Tao Yin. Gihong, breathe better, live longer. The book Zio Sen Shishu, known in the West as 10 Books on the Cultivation of Perfection, dates back to the 13th century and is a compendium of materials from diverse sources on developing the mind and body. It quotes, among others, the celebrated Chinese doctor and essayist Sun Simiao, who lived during the 6th century. Sun Simiao was a proponent of a technique called the six healing sounds, which involves the coordination of movement, breathing, and pronouncing sounds, with the purpose of bringing our souls to a place of calm. The six sounds are Zu, pronounced as sure with a deep sigh, which is associated with the liver. He, pronounced like her, with a yawn, which is associated with the heart. Si, pronounced like sir, with a slow exhale, which is associated with the lungs. Shui, pronounced like shui, with a forceful exhale, which is associated with the kidneys. Who, pronounced like who, which is associated with the spleen. Z, pronounced like she, which connects the whole body. The following poem by Sun Simiao offers clues about how to live well according to the season. It reminds us of the importance of breathing and suggests that as we breathe, we visualize the organs associated with each of the healing sounds. In spring, breathe sure for clear eyes and so wood can aid your liver. In summer, reach for her so that heart and fire can be at peace. In fall, breathe sir to stabilize and gather metal, keeping the lungs moist. For the kidneys, next breathe shui and see your inner water comes. The triple heater needs your she to expel all heat and troubles. In all four seasons, take deep breaths so your spleen can process food. And of course, avoid exhaling noisily. Don't let even your own ears hear you. The practice is most excellent and will help preserve your divine elixir. It might feel confusing to be presented with all the Eastern traditions we have introduced in this chapter. The takeaway is that they all combine a physical exercise with an awareness of our breath. These two components, movement and breath, help us to bring our consciousness in line with our body instead of allowing our mind to be carried away by the sea of daily worries. Most of the time, we are just not aware enough of our breathing. With this, we have completed 8th chapter and now we will begin with 9th chapter, Resilience and Wabi Sabi. how to face life's challenges without letting stress and worry age you. What is resilience? One thing that everyone with a clearly defined Ikigai has in common is that they pursue their passion no matter what. They never give up, even when the cards seem stacked against them or they face one hurdle after another. We are talking about resilience, a concept that has become influential among psychologists. But resilience isn't just the ability to persevere. As well as see in this chapter, it is also an outlook we can cultivate to stay focused on the important things in life rather than what is most urgent and to keep ourselves from being carried away by negative emotions. In the final section of the chapter, we'll explore techniques that go beyond resilience to cultivate anti fragility. Sooner or later, we all have to face difficult moments, and the way we do this can make a huge difference to our quality of life. Proper training for our mind, body, and emotional resilience is essential for confronting life's ups and downs. Nana Karobi Ya Oki. Fall 7 times, rise 8. Resilience is our ability to deal with setbacks. The more resilient we are, the easier it will be to pick ourselves up and get back to what gives meaning to our lives. Resilient people know how to stay focused on their objectives, on what matters, without giving in to discouragement. Their flexibility is the source of their strength. They know how to adapt to change and through reversals of fortune. They concentrate on the things they can control and don't worry about those they can't. In the words of the famous Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr, God give us grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Emotional resilience, though Buddhism and Stoicism, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha was born a prince of Kapilavastu, Nepal, and grew up in a palace surrounded by riches. At 16, he married and had a child. Not satisfied by his family's wealth, at 29, he decided to try a different lifestyle and ran away from the palace to live as an ascetic. But it wasn't asceticism that he was looking for. It didn't offer the happiness and well being he sought. Neither wealth nor extreme asceticism worked for him. He realized that a wise person should not ignore life's pleasures. A wise person can live with these pleasures but should always remain conscious of how easy it is to be enslaved by them. Zeno of Citium began his studies with the Cynics. The Cynics also led ascetic lives, leaving behind all earthly pleasures. They lived in the street, and the only thing they owned was the clothing on their backs. Seeing that cynicism did not give him a sense of well being, Zeno abandoned his teachings to found the school of Stoicism, which centers on the idea that there is nothing wrong with enjoying life's pleasure as long as they do not take control of your life as you enjoy them. You have to be prepared for those pleasures to disappear. The goal is not to eliminate all feelings and pleasures from our lives, as in cynicism, but to eliminate negative emotions. Since their inception, one of the objectives of both Buddhism and Stoicism has been to control pleasure, emotions, and desires. Though the philosophies are very different, both aim to curb our ego and control our negative emotions. Both Stoicism and Buddhism are at their roots Methods for practicing well being. According to Stoicism, our pleasures and desires are not the problem. We can enjoy them as long as they don't take control of us. The Stoics viewed those who were able to control their emotions as virtuous. What's the worst thing that could happen? We finally land our dream job, but after a little while, we are already hunting for a better one. We win the lottery and buy a nice car, but then decide we can't live without a sailboat. We finally win the heart of the man or woman we have been pinning for, and suddenly find we have a wandering eye. People can be insatiable. The Stoics believe that these kinds of desires and ambitions are not worth pursuing. The objective of the virtuous person is to reach a state of tranquility, apatheia, the absence of negative feeling such as anxiety, fear, shame, vanity, and anger, and the presence of positive feelings such as happiness, love, serenity, and gratitude. In order to keep their minds virtuous, the Stoics practice something like negative visualization. They imagine the worst thing that could happen in order to be prepared if certain privileges and pleasures were taken from them. To practice negative visualization, we have to reflect on negative events but without worrying about them. Seneca, one of the richest men in ancient Rome, lived a life of luxury but was nonetheless an active Stoic. He recommended practicing negative visualization every night before falling asleep. In fact, he not only imagined these negative situations, he actually put them into practice. For example, by living for a week without servants or the food and drink he was used to as a wealthy man. As a result, he was able to answer the question, what's the worst thing that could happen? Meditating for healthier emotions. In addition to negative visualization and not giving in to negative emotions, another central tenet of Stoicism is knowing what we can control and what we can't. As we see in the Serenity Prayer, worrying about things that are beyond our control accomplishes nothing. We should have a clear sense of what we can change and what we can't, which in turn will allow us to resist giving into negative emotions. In the words of Epictetus, it is not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. In Zen Buddhism, meditation is a way to become aware of our desires and emotions and thereby free ourselves from them. It is not simply a question of keeping the mind free of thoughts, but instead involves observing our thoughts and emotions as they appear without getting carried away by them. In this way, we train our minds not to get swept up in anger, jealousy, or resentment. One of the most commonly used mantra in Buddhism focuses on controlling negative emotions. Om Mani Padme Hum, in which Om is the generosity that purifies the ego. Ma is the ethics that purifies jealousy. Ni is the patience that purifies passion and desire. Pad is the precision that purifies bias. Mi is the surrender that purifies greed. And Hum is the wisdom that purifies hatred. The here and now, and the impermanence of things. Another key to cultivating resilience is knowing in which time to live. Both Buddhism and Stoicism remind us that the present is all that exists and it is the only thing we can control. Instead of worrying about the past or the future, we should appreciate things just as they are in the moment in the now. The only moment in which you can be truly alive is the present moment. Observe the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, in addition to living in the here and now, the Stoics recommend reflecting on the impermanence of the things around us. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said that the things we love are like the leaves of a tree. They can fall at any moment with a gust of wind. He also said that changes in the world around us are not accidental, but rather form part of the essence of the universe, a rather Buddhist notion. In fact, we should never forget that everything we have and all the people we love will disappear at some point. This is something we should keep in mind, but without giving in to pessimism. Being aware of the impermanence of things does not have to make us sad. It should help us love the present moment and those who surround us. All things humans are short lived and perishable. Seneca tells us the temporary, ephemeral, and the impermanent nature of the world is central to every Buddhist discipline. Keeping this always in mind helps us avoid excessive pains in times of loss. So we will stop here and we will continue from Wabi Sabi and Ichigo Ichi in next video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And stay tuned for the next video. Like, share and subscribe to my channel so that we get encouragement to make such videos a lot. And thank you everyone.